Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, please click like and subscribe. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you would just take a couple seconds to drop a comment below. Let me know whether you liked this video, whether it was helpful, whether it wasn't helpful, whether you already knew it. Just let me know what you think about it. This video I'm going to show you how to cut extreme angles. So sometimes when you're cutting angles you need something more than a 45 or whatever your saw can do. So let's say you need a 55-degree angle. With this jig you can set your saw to 10 degrees. You've already got a 45-degree jig set in there, so when you cut that piece, you've got a 55-degree angle. It's pretty much that easy. So I'm going to show you how I made this jig. I've already made the left-hand side, as you can see. I didn't figure you'd have to sit there and watch me make both of them. It's a pretty simple process. I just use scraps laying around the shop. If you have to buy something to do this, I'm using 3/4 inch plywood for my base because I don't want my base to move at all. And I'm using a piece of leftover fence picket to make my stop at the bottom and my fence on the back. Now the fence on the back, you want it pretty straight. If you've got another piece of 3/4 inch plywood and you want to rip it down, you can do that. As long as when you're putting this together, your bottom board or your flat board is up against the fence tight. The back board is more to just clamp the board to the fence so it doesn't move while you're cutting your extreme angles. Now your saw may vary a little bit, but on mine, the DeWalt has a little gap in the back there. You can't really see, it's where my right hand is, so I'm actually overhanging the board on the back as well as the front part. You'll see when I move my hand. So basically I've got a good stop there. I'm going to take my clamp and I just tighten the clamp up to the point where when I put the glue on it, I can slide the clamp up and it's already in place. That way I don't have to try to ratchet the clamp into place when I'm trying to glue it down to keep it from moving around on me. Now there's not a lot of pressure on this, so you don't have to over glue it. Whatever you feel comfortable with glue wise. Technically if you're going to brad nail it like I'm going to brad nail it, you wouldn't have to glue it together at all. You could clamp it, the glue would hold it in place since you're going up against plywood. But just for safe measures, I'm popping a few brads in there to have a little bit more longevity out of it. And it's less likely that your jig will slide around or get out of shape any. Now I'm just going to clamp it in place and hold it there so I can pop a couple brad nails in it. And then if you want to put a few more in there, if the clamps are in the way, you can go back later and add a couple more brad nails if you want to. So with my bottom stop in place, I'm going to work on my fence in the back now. Now again, the fence in the back, you want a nice straight board. I'm pushing it so I'm making sure I've got a good flat board. I've got it up against the fence now, and again, this is going to be used to clamp your jig to the fence in the back. Importantly, you want to keep the back flush with the back fence and flat on the saw. So I'm going to glue my part on the back here. Basically, I'm just gluing the bottom of it, just like we did the stop. I'm going to clamp it together. Clamps are just loose right now to hold it in place. Once I get it turned around, I'm going to flush it out on the back. Same thing, I'm going to make sure all my edges are flush. I'm going to pop some brad nails in it just to keep it from falling apart on me. With all that done, we're ready to cut our 45-degree angle on our board. Now, I was looking at myself doing this, and yes, I could have probably put this together in one solid piece, put the two stops on both sides, put the backboard all the way across the back, and then just cut two 45s in the middle, made a pie out of it. But I still think it'd be easier if you're doing this, especially if it's your first time building one of these, to actually just do each side at a time. It didn't take that much longer to do both sides. We need a nice clean cut here, so I put two clamps on there. Normally you're only going to put one clamp on there. You might not even have to put one clamp on there if you're only cutting one piece of wood. But I put two clamps on there to ensure that it's not going to move on me when I cut this 45-degree angle. So as you can see with both pieces in there now, there's plenty of room for the saw blade to clear. You would basically clamp both those on at the same time, butt your board up to the other piece, and make your cuts the way you need it to. And again, the quick math lesson, if you want a 55-degree cut, when you lay your board into this jig, you would take 55, subtract 45 from it, that would leave you a 10-degree angle. So you would set your saw to 10 degrees. And again, depending on your saw, you can cut off the front and back overhang pieces if you want. I leave the back one on for the DeWalt. It just seems to fit in the DeWalt saw pretty easy. Thanks for watching. Please click like and subscribe.